Hello folks, welcome back to the first video I've done on my second channel for quite a while. I started the Stammering Tech Reviewer because I do get emails all the time about products where I think the manufacturers have just gone through YouTube and said filter by channels over a certain number of subscribers, and I've had things for menswear, beard oils, pre-workout powders, water filtration systems, but every now and then I get something that I think, oh, I really like that. I'd really love to play around with that, but it's not really motorcycle related content. And a lot of the time it's like, it'd be very difficult to try and, shoehorn that into a motorcycle related video. Occasionally I will email back and say, well, I'd love to, but it doesn't really fit in with the motorcycling side of my main channel, but I have this other one. Would you be interested in me reviewing it on that? And normally the answer is either no, you only have 13 subscribers on there. The reason we emailed you is because you have more on your main one. Or they just don't answer. However, that wasn't the case when Ultrahuman reached out and asked if I'd like to try out their Ultrahuman Ring Air. I emailed back and said, yes, but I would love to do it on my other channel, and fair play to them. They said, absolutely fine. So I will obviously promote this on my Stammering Biker one as well. So let's get into it. Now, I know this has been out for a while now, so there are plenty of other reviews online that kind of go into a lot more detail than I probably will. But being a bit of a tech nerd, I thought, let's see how it is. I haven't worn a ring for probably 20 years, if not more. So I was a bit unsure how it was going to feel, how I would actually get on with it. So in terms of what you get in the box, I was going to do a whole unboxing, segment, but it's pretty straightforward. The unboxing experience is very straightforward. You obviously get the actual ring, which I'm wearing now. Some information cards, some instructions, a USB-C cable, and the actual, charging dock, which, if I can hold that up, is essentially a little wireless dock. In fact, let me take the ring off. Oh, and it just, there's a little notch on there, and it simply slots in like that. And then you plug it into USB. Now's probably a good time to talk about the battery life. I don't want to go too spec heavy, but from a battery life point of view, I've been getting between 5 and 7 days out of it. Now, the app did recommend that I run in more of like I think it calls it a chill mode, but I've been getting pretty decent, battery life, considering how many sensors are sort of packed in on this. Now, I have gone to their website because I'm not one who can learn a script and know all of the facts and figures off by heart, so bear with me. Okay, so what I will do is I will actually show this on the screen now. Obviously I'll put a link to the product, but it looks like it's CNC machined out of what I assume is aluminium or aluminum if you're in the States. As you can see here, it packs quite a lot of sensors in there. 2.4 grams light. I really do like it in the black finish, which is what I went for. Now, obviously it does, included in them, those, sensors includes blood oxygen saturation, heart rate, temperature. I think there's an there's a motion sensor chip, and yeah, incredibly. There we go. Fighter jet grade titanium reinforced with tungsten carbide carbon. There's a mouthful, especially for someone like me. So like I said, I'm not going to go heavy into the specs. I want to talk about more about my experience with it, and whether I would recommend this. My experience of it. I've been using it now for probably about the last 4 weeks, and the reason I've done that is mainly two reasons. A, I've been incredibly busy with the main channel, and I've been away, and it's just been a bit on the crazy side. And B, because this ring has been being reviewed by some pretty top YouTubers, I thought I at least want to be able to say I've worn it, I've given it a sort of test drive, and rather than just kind of go, hey, look here, use my link, blah, blah, blah. That's not who I am. So what do I think? Let's talk about wearing it. So like I said, I didn't want to wear it on my index finger. I've been wearing it on this finger, and you can get a free sizing kit where they send you a set of 3D printed rings so you can try on. So I went for it on this finger because I thought on my index finger it might get in the way of me using a mouse, which I do for 8 to 12 hours a day every day. From a comfort point of view, reasonably comfortable. The inside of it is very smooth, but I want to sort of touch on one of the negatives, at least for me. Now, I acknowledge I haven't worn rings for like I said, over 20 years, so this may be a me issue, but I find the thickness of the ring a little bit on the bulky side. Now, that's perhaps a little bit unfair because, like I said, a friend of mine's just got married, and I think he's got a titanium wedding band that is quite thick. It may just be a case of getting used to it. Am I wearing it and thinking, oh God, this is no. Perfectly comfortable to wear. Just every so often, it kind of gets in the way a little bit, which leads me on to the other element about the design and the comfort of the actual band itself. Now, you may not be able to see this on camera. If need be, I will put something up on the screen that kind of illustrates it. It's basically flat. It's an almost 90 degree drop. I think it could do with having a sort of chamfered edge to make it a bit more round on these edges. And the reason I say that is in the night or in bed, I've gone like that and I've scratched myself across the forehead. And I also, on the steering wheel on my car, I caught the steering wheel, with that rather sharp edge, and I've put quite a bad scratch into the leather steering wheel, and a similar scratch on the inside door panel of my wife's car, because her seatbelts are quite far back, and as I leant back, I went across the plastic and put a scratch into it. So I really, really would like to see Ultrahuman modify that, because I think that does the rest of the ring a disservice, because the amount of data that you actually get out of this is pretty impressive. Now, what I will say is I purposely haven't allowed the Ultrahuman app access to my Apple Health, because I do wear an Apple Watch, and I didn't want to conflict, obviously, step data, heart rate data. I wanted to keep them separate. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up the app on my phone, and we're going to go through that, just to see the sort of insights that you can have. Okay, so I'm going to stick it up on the screen now, so you don't have to look at me. So here is the app now. Incredibly data rich. We have insights into my sleep, and all of the different phases. And what I will say is this is fairly comparable to what my Apple Watch has. So assuming my £800 Apple Watch Ultra is fairly accurate. I was wearing this at the start with a Garmin smartwatch, and again, fairly similar in the metrics for sleep. But we have all of the sleep stages, what time I went to bed, what time I woke up, etc. All the heart rate information and variability, oxygen saturation, really quite a lot of insights there. Dynamic recovery, all of the usual info, skin temperature, etc. I'm not going to dwell too much on a lot of it. So here we have the step info, the temperature deviation. Apparently my Ultra age is 1 year older than I am, which I'm not surprised considering I am in the process of trying to lose weight. But we can go into that. Not enough data to calculate that. Brain age calculation. Yeah, so I have gone through periods of not wearing this when I've been riding my bike more, so that's probably why that isn't filled in. Circadian rhythm, movement information. I do get quite a lot of notifications from the app, probably more than I would prefer. You may be able to sort of tone that down, but I'm not sure. But as you can see, there is an absolute boatload of information that you can have on here. So in terms of the app and the information that it provides, like I said, it's mostly comparable to my Apple Watch. So would I be happy wearing this and knowing that it's getting my sleep info right, my heart rate, etc., within obviously a tolerance of error? Absolutely. When I was away recently, I had a nap in the afternoon because we had a really early flight, and when I opened the app a bit later on that day, it actually came up and said, "It looks like you took a nap earlier. Yes or no." Now, I've never had that from either the Garmin app, the Apple Health app, and I thought that was really quite good. One of the things a lot of people mentioned about the Ultrahuman is that there is no subscription to use it, which is still the case right now. However, there is a bit more, how shall I put it, advertising in the app for their power plugs, which as you can see here, are basically plugins that you have to pay for. Now, I know some people might say, they're sneaking it in, but I think I personally, some of these are free. The pregnancy insights, etc. And there are obviously some paid for ones. Now, I personally wouldn't bother paying for any of these. So as long as Ultrahuman don't push that too much, that's absolutely fine by me. The only other negative that I want to call out is the step count. Now it says 2,841 steps. I've been up for probably 4 hours now, 5 hours. And if I go into my Apple Health app, I will see that the step count is completely wrong. 822 is probably more accurate, because I've not left 2 hours. I've not left 2 hours. I've 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 left 2 hours the house I work from home, so 822 steps is about right. But unfortunately, the Ultrahuman app is consistently, you know, in the regions of double, if not anything up to quadruple the amount of steps more than I have actually walked. I have fed this back, and they are obviously looking into this, but considering the ring has been out for quite a while now, I'm a little disappointed this hasn't been fixed, sooner, because if I'm experiencing it, I'm sure other people are. But I am confident it can be fixed with a software update. It's probably just optimization of the movement, sensor in it. But that is the only reason, that is the main reason that would currently deter me from wearing this full time. It also registers, tapping on a keyboard as steps, which I think is why this is wildly out of whack. So just something to bear in mind. That is my experience with the Ultrahuman Air. I think with a more rounded edge and the fix to the optimization for the step count, I would have absolutely no issue recommending this and wearing this. So I want to say thank you to Ultrahuman for sending this over. They do have a 30% off deal on the website now, which I think makes the Ultrahuman Air just over £200. Now, all I would ask, if you don't mind, if you do go to buy one of these, it will apply that code automatically, but if you replace the code with TSRB30, I'll stick it up on the screen now, or follow the link in the description, that would be lovely. I will get a little something out of it. If not, that's fine. It's entirely down to you. But yes, that is my review of the Ultrahuman Ring Air. Hopefully I've done it some justice and been honest. And I'm hoping to make more videos on this channel about generic tech related items. Please stick a comment down below, and as always, please like and subscribe and all that stuff. I know it's a little bit corny to ask for that, but I don't have many subscribers on this channel, and it would be really nice to kind of build that up and branch out into some other areas of tech that I can review for you.